Welcome back to Media City Radio. Today we are joined by someone who's not just shifting the conversation around health, he's transforming how men show up for themselves and each other. Dr. Vic is a board certified family physician and the founder of the Man Kave, a health and wellness platform designed to help men, especially black and brown men, prioritize physical, emotional, and mental well-being. With years of clinical experience and a deeply human-centered approach, Dr. Vic is on a mission to break generational cycles of silence, stigma, and survival mode living. Through the Man Cave, he created a space where real men can have real conversations about health, fatherhood, aging, purpose, and everything in between. In a world that often teaches men to tough it out, Dr. Vic is teaching them how to tune in. And today, we're diving into what it looks like. I've heard you speak numerous times, whether it was at Calvary or if it was at International High School with the Unity Foundation. I'm a big fan of your work, and I'm just honored to have you here today.
No, absolutely, man. Appreciate you having me.
You could have stayed in the clinical and done great work, but you launched the Man Cave. Mm-hmm. What was the personal and professional moment that sparked this moment for you?
Man, so, the whole idea of actually the Man Cave, so the original concept was called Chop It Up. And that was started back in 2019 when I was finishing up sort of my residency and stuff. And at that time, we had to come up with a quality improvement project as like your senior project. And so I was going after colorectal cancer screenings and stuff like that, right? Men don't screen, black men just don't do anything at all, black and brown, period. And so I was going to go to barbershops and tell them about like Cologuard. Cologuard was pretty new at that time. So I wanted to tell people, hey, screening is more than just a colonoscopy. You can do this, this test. You can give the sample at home, mail it out, you get the results. If it's negative, you good. If it's positive, then you got to get a colonoscopy, right? So the whole idea was like men just got to screen, right? Because by the time most of us find out, it's already like stage 4 and you like getting ready to die, basically, right? So, and we just get aggressive forms of it for whatever reason. So I just want men to screen. So it's called Chop It Up back then. And then COVID hit and kind of slowed everything down. And while I was at St. Joe's, I had opportunity to actually kind of do it. And so I rebranded it as the Man Cave because really it's about creating a safe space or creating not just safe space, but just creating a space that men want to go to. And then once they're there, you can give them anything they want, right? You can sell them. Just like we was talking about here, right? Mm-hmm. Once the kids come in, it don't matter where you're from, don't matter how you feel. You come in here and you see the stuff, and you're like, oh, this is dope. Oh, and now I got your attention.
And you get them inspired.
You know what I'm saying? And now once they're inspired, my hope is that they leave with something, either leave with an appointment or leave getting a screening test done or leave with like some tangible education, something like that. So that's really how the whole concept came about. And I felt like that was the best way to actually get people to be healthy because I can't see enough people in the clinic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too hard to try and like sell 1,000, 2,000, however many people we've seen in a year. But if you come to a space and you see all this cool stuff, like if I can get 200, 150, 200 people at a time at a clip, it's a much easier to sell. You know what I'm saying? Than trying to do it one-on-one. You're gonna burn out and stuff. So that was really the impetus behind all of this. June 14th is the Man Cave Summit. It's the 5th one, the largest one. We got on-site screening services.
I saw that. I was like, your goal is to do at least 100 men that day, right?
Yeah, the goal is to get not only 100 men there, but I need 50 or more men screened. And so you can get your prostate cancer screening done on site. You can do your colorectal cancer screening on site. You know what I mean? You can do melanoma screening. You can do breast cancer screening. I mean, men do get breast cancer, like, you know what I mean? So I got all the screenings available. You can get an STD screening. All of this stuff can be done day of, you know what I'm saying? All for the free. Now, if you know the access to like the panel discussions, breakouts, food, music, all that type of stuff, now there's a charge for that, but the most important thing is getting screened. And so all of that's free haircuts, all of that.
And you said that's on June 14th?
Saturday, June 14th, Fairleigh Dickinson, Dickinson Hall. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. You definitely should come out to that. So why do you think it's so hard for men, especially men of color, to talk about their health?
You got issue with any man, right? we all have that stigma. We all have that culture that we grew up with. Like, you know, men don't cry, whatever it is. You know what I mean? You play football, you might, first time you get hit, you might, want to cry. Second time you get hit, you know what I'm saying? And third time you're like, all right, now I understand what this is about now. Like, it ain't no crying in this thing, right? Don't nobody care. So men just don't know how to talk about stuff. I think we're not taught to necessarily verbalize our feelings. And because we don't verbalize our feelings, right, we don't really know how to process things or really try to understand or even just communicate what we actually feel. If you feel something, oftentimes for us is going to be like an anger or frustration. You know how to deal with that, right? Even if it's just to go hit the bag, I got to get out my frustrations in some kind of like physical act. I can go to the gym, physically push it off me, hit the bag, do whatever, right? Get into MMA, all this type of stuff. But nobody really said go play football. Nobody ever said, you know what I'm saying, use your anger and talk about it. Sit with your anger, understand your feelings, and then come back and tell me about your feelings. And let's talk about what made you mad, how you gonna deal with it next time. Nah. Most kids and young, you got an anger issue, put that kid in football. Use that aggression and make him just go out there and just, fuck him up. You know what I mean? So nobody really teaches us. So that's why I think by the time you get to certain ages, adults, 18, 19, 20, all that. I mean,
It's so compressed already
yeah, it's
inside of
already
them.
there. And that's all I know is how to deal with it in this way. Like, I don't know how to be talking, so even if you're talking about with your lady, I don't know how to necessarily communicate. I'm frustrated, so I go leave, or I'm going to go, might smoke or something to just kind of like, we do a lot of things to try to escape. Even if you have a man cave, right?
Huh?
The concept of the man cave is almost like an escape room. More than anything, like I can just go down here and not be bothered by nothing. Not necessarily have to deal with the problem. Just kind of like whatever it is, music. I can play the game. I can do whatever I want to do and not be bothered and not necessarily deal with it. But once I leave the man cave, it's right there in my face. You know what I'm saying? You still ain't dealt with the problem. So I just feel like men just don't really, we're not taught to do all these type of things, to talk about stuff, process emotions, understand what they mean. You know what I mean? And so I think that's the biggest thing. And we just don't know how to engage with emotions and stuff like that.
I was telling my son on the way here about that. I was like, you should listen to this interview. He said, well, I'm gonna listen to it on the way home. Because he's had a couple issues recently with anger and stuff like that. And I told him, even in my case, my father couldn't show me the love that I was looking for because he's like, his dad never showed him that.
You know what I'm saying?
So I said it's important that you express yourself, like communicate with me. I didn't have that avenue with my own father, but I'm trying to have that with my children.
Yeah, and like you, I'm doing the same thing, God versus soul. My pop actually just passed May 11th.
My
right?
condolences, my brother.
Appreciate it. So, and it's the same thing, reflecting on him is, my pop don't talk. Like even to the end while he was super sick, I'm trying to get out of him, like, tell me some stories about, growing up. Like, I'm trying to get to know you, pop. Now, shit, you sick. He ain't want to give him up. He just don't want to talk about that type of stuff. He had a pretty traumatic childhood, but, and again, like growing up, he wasn't really big on the emotional stuff. He just tell you what to do. You don't do it.
Discipline, yeah.
Discipline, physically discipline.
Same here.
You know what I mean? And then, we keep pushing. So I'm trying to do a little differently with my boy. There's still a lot of my pop traits in there because that's all I know, right? But I'm trying to do a little bit differently for sure.
Same here, brother. Same here. What kind of conversations or breakthroughs have surprised you the most in the Man Cave community?
Surprised me the most? I don't get surprised by conversation because I think the way I like to ask questions in there is like, I want the good stuff. I want the shocking stuff. So, I've had conversations around like sexual health and, ED and stuff like that. And, people, I get shocked, I guess, that people are willing to like open up about their problems, about ED and like, what they've tried to do and what's not working and how that's screwing up their own confidence and things like that. So, I'm not really shocked by any conversation because I want the super crazy stories. You know what I mean? I think that's because when people in there hear things like that, more than likely there's somebody else who probably has a similar crazy story.
And they're willing to share.
You know what I'm saying? And so now you're feeding off. Now the men inside are feeding off each other. Y'all don't even need me no more. You know what I mean? So if somebody's willing to be that vulnerable, then somebody else is going to be willing to be that vulnerable. So there's been some good stories in there. I mean, the best moment I'll say is probably at the second Man Kave. Daniel Ratchford and his team, bereavement. There was a guy in there literally going through a mental health crisis. Like, swear to God, like he was in there just like going through it, kind of like, I don't know if he's having a panic attack or something, but like him and his boys like grabbed him and like took him to the back and talked him down. Like, who knows what he was getting ready to do when he left? But it was like, and then he came back and like connected with them, and I would assume to this day he's still kind of connected with them. But you know, that's kind of what you want. Like, and you come to a place where you feel like you're breaking down, and then there's somebody in there to actually help you out and stuff like that. So I think that was the best moment that I think I've had thus far with another man in there. So yeah.
And it gives you pleasure, like with your job, and like be able to help people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just love giving advice. You know what I'm saying? I love coaching and motivation and things like that. So that's why I enjoy doing this so much, just motivating people to kind of change, take that first step.
And how long you been a doctor for?
So board certified since 2019. Yeah.
Okay. How do you help men go from reactive care, waiting until something's wrong, to preventative care and international living?
Yeah, so and that's the whole point. I'm primary care. It's all about prevention, right? So again, so even for me, I try to use coaching principles, like I was saying, where I don't necessarily, if you got diabetes, right? You got diabetes, cool, whatever. So let's change the conversation from, okay, you have this, you got to take this pill, okay, and come back and see me. Before we leave, let's talk about a plan. What's your motivation? Like, why do you want to get healthy? Let's just start there. Is it for your kid? Is it for yourself? You know what I mean? Whatever. Take the pains away. You know, whatever it is. What's your reason? All right, cool. Do you understand what diabetes is doing to keep you from that? Right? No, you don't. So let's talk about what diabetes is kind of real quick, not no deep level, but just understanding what the sugars is doing, how the sugars is affecting your brain, how it's affecting all these other organs. And then, all right, now let's talk about why you need to take this medicine. And then last but not least, I tell them, listen, you're not going to be on these medicines for life. My job is to help you come up with a plan to get you off these medicines. You need the help right now. There's no denying that. The numbers are the numbers, right? You need the help right now. But if we come up with a plan that includes exercise, whatever that looks like for you, some kind of diet thing, whatever that looks like for you, right? Mental health wise, whatever that looks like for you, right? Whatever things you feel like you can do, we're going to stick to a plan, and you come back and see me in 3 months, and I'm going to check on you. And I'm going to ask you about the plan. Where did you screw up at? Are you still good? You still sticking to the script? Or you ran into these roadblocks? All right, cool. Let's switch up what we got to do to stay on track now. So that's what I do, because I want you to get off meds. I don't want you to, your motivation is to get on it and get off.
That's good, because a lot of doctors nowadays is the total opposite. They want to have you on medication forever.
Yeah, they're going to tell you, nah, you got diabetes for life. True, don't mean you need meds for life.
Right.
So,
it's all about the changes you make in your life.
You understand? But you will be a diabetic for life. Yes, for sure, right? We can't necessarily, your diagnosis will simply go from uncontrolled diabetes to controlled. That's it. But you're a diabetic. But that doesn't mean you need meds. You know what I mean? So the plan is always get you off meds.
That's great. That's great. There's such a stigma around vulnerability and manhood. How do you personally define strength in a man today?
Man, that's a dumb, hard question, because I don't even know how to define that. I go out there and I talk about all this stuff, and I still got all these issues I got to fix myself. Like, I'm in therapy myself. I am. I go every 2 weeks. But I got a lot of things, like, I got a lot of things I still got to work on. Still, there's other demons and stuff like that I still got to kind of like work through.
Oh, we all do.
You know what I
All
mean?
men do, for that matter.
And so, like, even being vulnerable, like, even now, like, Pop's, it's not even 10 days since he passed, right? And, I still haven't, like, cried all the way yet. Like, I haven't had that ball out like that. And I'm like, is something wrong? Am I, like, why am I not, like, and I don't know if it's, I don't really know. I don't know if maybe I became numb watching him kind of decline. You know what I mean? But
Maybe that the fact that he knew that he was really sick too.
Yeah, and like
it's now like it was like a shock.
Nah, how quickly? Well, yeah, I thought we'd get a few more years, but like in my head, I was always kind of like, it's coming. You know what I mean? And like, it's coming, and like it's bad. I was sometimes be like, he's almost dead, pretty much, because he's stuck in the bed. He can't do nothing. So I don't even know. Like, I think maybe that's strength in talking about this right now, but I really don't know how to define really what a man. I just think we have to change what we think is manhood and the toxicities of it.
I agree 100%.
Because I feel like toxic manhood. I hate when people say, not hate, but I don't really like it because I think that's kind of like females are defining that more so than us saying, right? What it means to be a man a little bit differently. Like, we just have to talk a little bit more. We just have to learn how to connect better with our emotions. It's the only thing I think we really need to do, honestly.
Great answer. What generational patterns do you see when it comes to how men relate to stress, pain, and asking for help?
I mean, men don't. So pain, like, you just push through. Like I said, like, I know even for me right now, like, I just feel like I'm just trying to push through and try to stay busy. When you get stressed out, at least for me, I try to just, I add a distraction.
Add more work.
I get more stressed now that I got like all this work now. Get more frustrated and quick to, snap on people. But I'm just trying to find a way to run away real quick.
That's another reason I was kind of excited about having you here today, because I'm dealing with kind of the same thing. Like I said, I lost one of my close friends about 2 weeks ago, and I really haven't had an opportunity to grieve neither. So I was actually kind of really looking forward to talking to you today as well, just to see, how to deal with those emotions. Because even yesterday at service, the guest pastor was like, she's like, speak to someone. I could see how much pain you in. I could see you just suppress it. And I said, I just pick up my camera and I just shoot. That's how I process stuff.
Yeah.
And I've lost so many people, in the last few years that were very close to me that, like, even my kids be like, did you grieve? And I'm like, what's that?
You know what I'm saying?
I just keep working, keep drowning myself in my work, take more bookings, do other things just to kind of distract myself. But like you said, we're not getting to the root of the problem that way.
Yeah, and like, like I said, because I think, even now in this sort of grieving for me, I'm like, one thing I'm doing, I'm like searching for my dad's voice. Like I'm like trying to hear him, and you know what I mean? And I'm like waiting for him to tell me to slow down or something. I'm waiting for him to be like, keep going or something. I'm just like waiting to hear him or feel like his presence. You know what I mean? Some days I'll be waking up like mad anxious, just like, shit, I don't know. Oh, I'm going to fail. All this stuff I'm doing, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. And like, and then I don't know, I feel like my dad would just be like, well, you got to like keep working.
That's my dad too.
You don't
work. That's what my father. That's the one thing about me. He's always taught me work.
You gotta keep working. Like, you just have to.
Nothing else matters. Just keep working.
Keep working, and and like this, one thing about my pop, like, he'll never be outworked. That's the one thing. Nobody's ever gonna outwork that man, and I feel like I'm the same. Nobody's ever gonna outwork me, in whatever it is. But to my detriment now, it's like.
Sometimes we burn ourselves out. We don't realize we're putting too much pressure on ourselves, and then it causes us more issues that we'll find out later.
Mm-hmm. I don't sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm guilty of that too. Like, I sleep like an hour or two a day.
You know what I'm saying? I wake up at 4 every day. I don't give a damn what time I went to sleep. I'm up. You know what I mean? I'm up at 4 because I'm always in my head like this work got to get done. You know what I mean?
How has being a doctor and a storyteller changed the way you approach healing?
So, thinking back and not thinking back, but understanding what's going on now and how to actually get to the future. There's like I was listening to some other podcast, can't remember now exactly. Probably one of like Freakonomics Radio or something, right? And he's saying the 3 skills you need in the future: storytelling, sales, and communication. Because of the way things are working, like so much stuff is around content creation, right? Like so much, like to the point, if you think about how Trump won on the strength of social media, he ain't win on policy and politics. He won on social media. You know what I mean? So if you think about, what I'm trying to create in this man cave truly is about experiences. So, and we'll talk offline, but I got a bunch of sort of ideas of like, how do you create experiences and throw the health in that, right? It has to be something that people want to experience first. And then you build the story of men getting healthy through experience, right? Not through, now there's education in there, but it's not the education, it's the experience. So the experience, just like we talk with them kids, when they come in, they experience the place. Now I can educate you, right? Now you're willing to listen. So what are the different types of experiences men, black, white, brown, care, right, want to experience? And then what is like what's the education? What's going to be a theme of this experience? What's going to be the health theme connected to this experience? You know what I'm saying? So that's really how I try to think about it and mold all these, anything with Man Cave and things like that. It's let's create a dope experience here in this space. And then what's the education around that? What's the one we want to really go after this time, right? So it goes like that.
What's one thing you wish every man listening to this podcast knew about his body or mind right now?
Oh man, well, your body and mind are connected first and foremost, right? The best way to get in tune with your mind is like with your body. So you have to understand your body, and so that includes the emotions, because even if you think about trauma, the body don't forget traumas. Like, so that's why people get these weird triggers. Like all of a sudden, you might walk down the street and all of a sudden, boom, and you just break down into something. You just, something just made you depressed out of just seemingly nowhere, right? Your body don't forget like traumas. And so even when you're talking about your emotions, you know what I mean? You get very upset, your heart beating all fast. You might start sweating. You know what I'm saying? You can't, somebody who's that angry, oftentimes they're like drunk. And so you know what I'm saying? You just start bumping your gums. You have no idea what you're really saying, right? It's like the same hormones that block certain centers in your brain, like alcohol would when you're drunk. You're not going to remember. You lose inhibition. And so you're just kind of doing whatever in that emotional state, saying whatever in that emotional state. So people have to get connected to your body to really, really understand your mind. So even when you're thinking about, exercise, like, exercise with purpose, how can you like think about how do I actually move my body now to be the most efficient and maximize energy expenditure? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, get connected with your mind, get connected with your body, but get a doctor. Don't be playing games. Get a primary care doctor. Know what your numbers are. Even if you don't like your doctor, cool, you can always change. But you gotta know what your numbers are. Like, you can't just be out here thinking everything is sweet, but
The thing too with the medical field, like a lot of good doctors, a lot of times is don't take certain insurances, and that's
for sure.
I have issues right now with multiple friends of mine that were discharged prematurely just because of insurances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
so even with that, you can go to an FQHC, community hospital, right? They accept stuff like, nobody likes St. Joe's like that, but St. Joe's take insurances. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's just about you knowing your numbers, and then you can go online and figure it out yourself if you want to. Shit, ChatGPT to get an idea, right? And then you can talk to somebody like me, health professional. I can help you understand some of these numbers and what you want to do. One of the key things I try to do is like, here's what you need to go back to your doctor and ask. All right, instead of you trying to like find a whole new doc, these are what the numbers look like. Why don't you go back and ask him this? Tell him to explain this part of your numbers to you in this way. And how does that work for you, right? So that way you can utilize your own doctor. People don't like docs or feel a way about docs because, you're almost powerless because they got all the knowledge. I don't know nothing like that. So if you tell me I got to do something, I can't tell you nah. I mean, I can, but shit, I don't.
It's like that's their expertise, so you're supposed to trust them.
You know what I mean? But what am I going to come back with? What's going to be my rebuttal, right? I don't know. I ain't got one. You know what I mean? So I guess I just have to listen to what he says, and people don't like that. You know what I mean? So I try to empower people. Let me give you some knowledge. Think about like this, think about this, and go back and ask them the next time you see them.
What's the long-term vision for the Man Cave, and how do you want to impact future generation of men?
Man, I'm trying to heal 100 men. Excuse me. That ain't shit. 1 million men. I'm trying to globally, I really want to affect the lives of 1 million men over time. You know what I mean? I think whether that's through screenings, cancer screenings, whether that's through nutrition counseling, whether that's through motivating them to just get a doc, whether that's, helping them understand their mental health better and improving their relationship by getting a marriage counselor or their own therapist, right? I just want to affect the lives of 1 million men globally. And then, just build out a super dope, nonprofit that does a lot of stuff, not only your health and, get a platform, maybe I'll get my own little baby studio or something like that, you know what I mean? But arts and advocacy, like, all that type of stuff is just have my hands in like multiple places and ensure that, men are getting healthy in the way that they want to. That's going to best help them, right? Because health isn't just simply lose weight and eat good. You know what I mean? It don't just work out like that for everybody.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
For someone listening right now who needs to know to do better but feels overwhelmed, where should he start?
Shit, June 14th at the Man Cave Summit, Fairleigh Dickinson University, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. We got free haircuts, so you gonna leave and you gonna look good. We got prostate cancer screenings, colorectal cancer screenings. We got BMI services. We got a doctor on site from Hackensack Meridian who'll be there to help you answer any questions that you may have about the numbers that you get on site. We got music, we got food, we got panel discussions. Benji gonna be there. The Noob's gonna be in the building. I got lawyers there. I got breakout sessions about real estate, mental health, leadership, cancer. Damn, I got a bunch of stuff there. So I feel like you're gonna get something. You will absolutely get. I got live music. Reggie Pittman and Lynette Sheard, they gonna be there. Live jazz. You know what I mean. Smooth it out too. So,
Sounds like it's gonna be an amazing event.
You know what I'm saying. So if you're looking for something, you need that first step, that first activation. June 14th, the Man Cave Summit, Fairleigh Dickinson University, the TNET campus. All right. You can check out everything at themancavehealth.com. That's themancavehealth.com. Man Cave with a K. And yeah, man, get your tickets. $25 tickets for the full activations, and the screenings are completely free. Haircuts are free. All the screens, everything are completely free. But if you want panel discussions, food, all that type of stuff, $25.
Okay. Where could they find you? And if someone was interested in becoming one of your patients, how could they get in contact with you?
Word. You can find me at The Black Maven on Instagram, the.black.maven with an M. Right now, I see patients. I work for Clover Health, and I see patients in home right now. But I really work in the Medicare space, so 65 and up. But coming soon, I will have my own telehealth platform to be able to see patients and stuff via telehealth. But for now, if you're 65 and up and you're super sick, I can come to the house and I can come take care of you.
Well, I appreciate you, Dr. Vic, for coming through today,
Absolutely,
man.
man.
It was a pleasure having
You
you.
already know, my boy.
Much love.
Yes,
God
sir.
bless.
Yes, sir.